Welcome back to the Purple Politics Podcast. I'm your host, Ben.
And I'm Rick.
And it's that time of the week when Rick and I sit down to go through the headlines.
In the current media landscape, everything is printed in red or blue. Ben and I try to find the purple area between the lines.
We ask questions, apply logic, and discover what stories were written by the headline heroes.
Just like the news, we're not always right and we don't always agree, but we always look for some sort of common ground.
Let us know what you think. Leave us a comment or send an article you'd like us to discuss over at purplepoliticspodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or at Rick and Ben on Twitter. So yeah, this week's been a fun week.
Yeah, from MAGA hats to Native Americans, everybody's losing their mind lately.
Not only that, we got all that snow up north, and
what
was it? Wisconsin was getting nailed.
Yeah, it never stops. It never stops. That's why they make cheese in Wisconsin, because their roads are closed for so long, and it just keeps forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got the MAGA hats. The shutdown. We got plenty to talk about
the
this
shutdown.
week.
Yeah, I heard somebody claimed a victory on the shutdown, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll start with the kids that got yelled at for wearing their MAGA hat. Well, that's not why they got yelled at, but
yeah, no, but in all fairness, the news did mention, and the students stood there in their MAGA hats. Now listen, if Trump had more support, let's say his rating was 60-70%. There wouldn't be any mention that these kids were wearing them hats. It's the haters. They continue to hate.
Or even take the hats off their heads. This would have never made the news. Say it was just a Christian kids protesting abortion.
Yeah.
Because that's really what they were. It was just a bunch of Christian kids protesting abortion. They happened to be wearing MAGA hats.
Yeah. Well, the hat is here nor there as far as I'm concerned, but it's one more. The only point I'm making is just one more way for the news to, get dirt on the president. And, before everybody gets too excited here, I'm not excited about our president, but I respect the office.
Neither of us are.
I respect the office. So, and I believe that little bullshit like this is what makes everything so hard. That's why they can't get together on it. These guys are acting like 4-year-olds throwing stones at each other.
Before we get too far, let's just go back through what happened and then what really happened.
Yeah.
So what happened, I'm doing air quotes that nobody can see.
Yeah, Ben's air quotes.
Yep.
Activated.
Podcast with air quotes. Useless. But so a video was posted to the news, social media of this kid. It seemed like this kid got into the face of a Native American who was banging on a drum.
Right.
So immediately, the left goes off because the kid is wearing a Make America Great Again hat.
Yeah.
Which we all know, if you're wearing that hat, you're a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
Not what I'm saying.
Not literally, but that's the general view
So
of most liberals. Anyway.
He has the Native American, what was his name? Phillips something, right? Something Phillips.
Yeah. Nathan Phillips.
Yeah, Nathan Phillips is on the news saying how bad he feels because of it, and then that the kid should apologize, and then the kid didn't do a heartfelt apology.
Well, he didn't feel it was a heartfelt apology, but I'm still not sure what...
The kid never apologized. He's like, I don't have anybody to apologize to.
I was going to say, what would he apologize for? Because I think if you watch...
the video... Well, if you just watch the original video,
yeah,
the kid looks like he gets in the face. But if you actually watch the entire video, what actually happens is there's a third group.
I've got the name of
the Black Hebrew Israelites, whatever the hell that is. They believe that God intended only for black people to walk the earth, which if we just took black out of that and put white in, that would be a completely racist statement.
Oh, yeah.
But because it's black, it's fine. These guys were screaming at the white kids, calling them faggots, incest babies. All of this is on the video.
But the news don't show that.
They did not.
They spin it the way they want to spin it.
Right, and that's exactly what the media does nowadays. So now what Phillips says he does, the Native American, is he says he goes over to the middle to try to kind of bring in the drums and calm everybody down because his march was over.
Yeah.
He was doing the Native American whatever march.
He was praying with his drum. That's what he does. He prays, bangs on the drum and prays, and he was hoping that would calm the situation. That was the quote that I read.
Right, and he was hoping to calm it, but he walks right up to the kids and he gets right in their face.
Right.
That's not calming things down.
No, that's
adding to the fire. So the truth is, this whole thing started because if you believe the Native American, because the two groups, the one group, the Black Israelites or whatever, Hebrew Israelites, were yelling at the Christian people protesting abortion. He came into the middle to calm things down. Nowhere in this video do you see this young man say anything to the Native American.
He did. He literally just stood there. I'm not even sure that he was staring at him. I think he was looking over his shoulder. But he just stood there. He stood his ground. He didn't back up. He didn't move forward. He didn't approach anybody. He stood still.
Right.
So they spin the clip, and this is where the term fake news comes from. They take a certain part of the clip and put their own reality to it instead of showing it in its entirety.
But I'm going to go a step further, and I'm going to say Nathan Phillips puts his own reality to it, too. Let me read you a quote.
Oh, he's no saint, though, this guy.
No, there's... I mean,
yeah.
So everybody's mad at this kid because he was in the face of a quote-unquote Vietnam veteran.
Yeah.
Who Nathan Phillips spends all of his time saying, yeah, I fought for America. If you look into his past...
Thank you for your service. Did he?
If you looked into his past, it's pretty shady. He may not have. I don't want to say what he may or may not have done.
Yeah, because we just really don't know.
Right. But what I got, here's a quote from him. So we've already had the quote of him saying why he walked up to the kids. Quote, "But I've truly lost the ability to articulate the hysterical rage, nausea, and heartache this makes me feel."
What's he talking
that
about?
You walked up to somebody and refused to walk. You decided that you wanted to get out of the situation. Another quote that he said was, "I realized that things were escalating, so I wanted to get out of the situation." So instead of walking away, you just stand there staring at this kid. And he's a kid. He's a 16-year-old. He's not going to back down.
Well, how come Phillips didn't walk up to the Black Hebrew Israelites?
I wouldn't have walked up to the Black Hebrew. And there's only a couple of them.
Yeah,
he walks up to a group of kids. You're absolutely right.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, why did he pick children over adults? I mean, where's the adult in the room, so to speak? Why not go over to the Hebrew Israelites and say, hey, yeah, you know, it is what it is. They're kids. You don't have to call them all these nasty names, or go beat your drum over there
because they weren't wearing MAGA hats.
Oh, yeah. So
Phillips has been in the news before for similar things.
Well, that's why I said, yeah, he doesn't have a perfect background, this guy, you know, so it's not like it's not as whitewashed as, you know, they make it sound. Here's the spin that I understood. So if you see a clip, you see a young kid in a Make America Great Again hat, and then I don't see a veteran. I see what looks like a Native American, and then they portray the child as being smug or disrespectful to the Native American.
Yeah, in just that short clip, it looks like the kid walked up to them.
Right.
Kid just stood there. And if you watch the entire clip, there's a scene where another Native American, not Phillips, is kind of behind this kid. What's his name? Sandman.
Yeah.
The kid's name is Sandman. Behind Sandman, and he's talking to another kid. Sandman and the kid must have said something back, but you don't hear him because he's too far away from the camera. But you hear the Native American guy saying something, and Sandman turns around and gives him the cut it. You know, you wave your hand by your throat.
Like enough shit. Don't engage. Just say nothing.
He turns around and he says, he just mouths, "Cut it. We're not doing this. We're just gonna stand here. We came. That was their goal. They're
that's
protesting
their right.
abortion.
And that's their right. It doesn't, listen, this isn't an abortion issue. This isn't a Native American issue. This isn't a Black Hebrew Israelite issue. The issue is for me, is how the news handled this.
Right.
All right. And to blame, all right, you have all these adults out here protesting and they're blaming a child.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
So he goes on CNN, and so the next day, Sandman goes on, and he's like, "Listen, I do wish that I had walked away. In the moment, this guy walks up on me. I have an adult walking up on me. I'm nervous. I don't know what's going on."
Yeah.
He goes, "I wish I had gotten out of there. I wish I had thought about it." He goes, "But I don't know who I'm supposed to apologize for. I did nothing wrong."
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. even his bishop of his Catholic church throws him under the bus. He's like, this is absolutely condemnable, blah, 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 because he's only looked at that one little clip. And now, instead of getting the actual news, we just follow these little clips and we react.
Yeah.
Instead of getting the news.
Like a tweet.
So I'm pretty sure Nathan Phillips kind of realized that he's bitching about nothing. So he had to come up with a reason why this, because he says that the kid's response was written for him and disingenuous and stuff like that. And I started thinking to myself, what the hell does this kid have to apologize for?
Nothing.
Well, here's where Ben's going to get really mad because this is so stupid. So they come up with the drums. They're beating the drums. The kids are bouncing around. They start going to the drums and stuff. They're doing the dancing and stuff.
Yeah, they're dancing with the drum beat.
And then a couple of kids start throwing the tomahawk.
Oh,
you know how they do at the sporting events?
Well,
and we've
Florida State Seminoles, they used to do the tomahawk. They were down in Florida. They were asked, they were told it's disrespectful. Right. Please don't do it. They don't do it anymore, to the best of my knowledge. So,
and I disagree. I completely agree that you're correct on what happened.
Right.
I disagree that that's racist to an entire population. It's just a population claiming racism. But here's the thing. Guess who never did the tomahawk?
Oh, the young man.
That everybody's demanding an apology from.
He doesn't need to apologize. He doesn't need to apologize. So, I'm not condoning, any wrongdoing that might have happened that I'm not aware of. I'm just saying, in that moment, here's what that kid did. He was approached by a group of adults. He froze. He stood still. He didn't move. He didn't know what to do. That's why I said, in hindsight, I would have just walked away. And, maybe it wasn't some shit ass-eating grin like they said. Maybe when he gets nervous,
I smile.
Maybe he grins.
I got friends that when they're about to get their ass kicked, they have a shit-eating grin on their face. It's a nervous habit.
Yeah. So,
but you know what? I brought it up. I'll bring it up again. As a society, we react before all evidence arrives. But then we refuse to correct what we just said about what we saw.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey made a painting, called it Baby Snakes or something. And I think the hat kind of represented, it looked like it was meant to say hate again instead of make America great again. But the only thing these kids did was wear Make America Great Again hats. That's literally the only thing that they did. Would this be such a big deal if a bunch of Christian schools kids were just there protesting abortion at the same time?
I don't think you would have been able to spin it without the hats, because you just have a group of kids there and they're confronted by a group of men.
Oh, I think we still would have a problem, because these kids were literally being accosted by, well, not accosted, that's a bad word.
No, but what I'm saying is you wouldn't have been able to spin it the way they spun it without the hat. There's no news story.
But nobody's talking about the fact that these Black Hebrew Israelites
we're saying some pretty rough
stuff.
Are
being fucking racist.
Yeah.
They were yelling racial, homophobic slurs at white children. That's why nothing's being said. Because if you say anything about them, just like everybody listening to this right now is like, oh, Ben's just a racist because he doesn't like Black Hebrew Israelites.
That's not true.
I never said I don't like Black Hebrew Israelites. I don't like Black Hebrew Israelites thinking that white people are pieces of shit just because we're white.
Right.
Just like I don't like white people who think black people are pieces of shit just because they're black.
Right.
It makes no sense to me. But somebody who came up with words for this that I couldn't come up with on my own was this man named Kevin D. Williamson from the National Review. And I'm going to read a quote that he wrote. Much of the American media is no longer engaged in journalism. It is engaged in opposition research and in what is sometimes among political operatives as black PR, the sinister twin of ordinary public relations. Newspaper reporters are supposed to cover what's going on in the world. I don't know what you call people who cover what's going on in Twitter. My own suspicion is that this moment of mass hysteria, like other hysterias before it, eventually must collapse under the weight of its own tediousness. But I cannot say with any confidence that I expect that to happen soon. And it will not happen at all until Americans start deciding to take on the difficult responsibilities of citizenship, which starts with acting like a goddamned grown-up.
Well said.
I love that. It's about hating Trump for Trump.
For his hat.
Yeah.
I mean,
just because you want to hate Trump. Like, there's nothing behind it. I'm still waiting. We called out people last season. Give me one reason why you hate Trump. Not anything that he said.
Yeah.
Something that he's done. What has he done that has made you hate him so much?
What has he done as president?
Yeah, I mean,
I
got yelled at the other day because I posted which we're gonna talk about in a minute, about his like border wall fiasco.
Yeah.
All these people have been calling him a racist because he wants a border wall. Yet all these people have been calling for tighter border security, and I get it. They're not talking about the wall.
Right.
And I even labeled that post, this is not about a wall. It's about these politicians just catering to their side.
Right.
It's about franchising politics. It's literally sports teams now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And immediately I get posts about the wall. And I said, listen, this is not about a wall. I go, in fact, if you watch that video, Hillary Clinton says she's even considering walls. She says it. But you guys ignore that part.
Yeah, because the media don't talk about that.
Right. Well, I mean, it was right there in the clip that they're commenting on.
Right.
I go, so this is not about a wall. It's just about the left saying the same thing the right says. They kind of both want the same thing. I don't think the wall will work. You've talked about it on the podcast. You don't think the wall will work.
I don't think it'll work. I just, I mean, you're going to spend billions of dollars. Like I said, with, it's a 30-foot wall. A 31-foot ladder is going to get you over it. I mean, listen, China tried it. The Great Wall of China. Did it work? No. Were they racist? No.
That's not how they're bringing in the exploited children, which is my big issue.
Right.
That's not how they're bringing in the drugs and the heroin.
Correct.
Which heroin is a drug, but those aren't the issues. The issues are at the border where the trucks are getting through with the coke and the kids. And
yeah.
So I get that the wall isn't a thing.
Listen, you can spend $5 billion or $5.7 billion. Matter of fact, the shutdown cost way more than the wall. And most people don't realize that. The cost of the government being shut down was in the billions. You could have built the wall. You could have gave him his money and you would have had some money left over.
Yeah.
So one way or the other, and listen, Democrats and Republicans knew this going in. So if they really had our financial best interest in, they would open the government. This was a piston match between Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi having a fit. Donald Trump said, you know what? I'll take the blame for it. I'll own it. It is what it is. None of this had to happen. But the point I'm getting at is if we took $5 billion, that's a lot of money. $5 billion. Let that soak in for a minute. Okay? Just let that $5 billion. How much manpower could you buy with $5 billion, and for how long? How much infrared equipment? How much ground sensing equipment? How many air helicopters? Monitoring these borders. Why not spend that money beefing up the people and the tools for the people that are on our border? I mean, it's not. There's very few places. Or I shouldn't say very few. There's a lot of places like when sections where the wall has gone up, they open these doors to the border so the farmers can cross over freely and handle their crops. There's no border agent sitting there. People already know this. So if you really want to cross the border, there's your opportunity. 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning when somebody opens it. You could drive tractor trailers through there full of people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I think you have to take a more modern day approach versus a wall.
But I don't think
high tech is what I'm saying.
I don't think his border security and our border security are the same meanings.
No.
He wants to keep out all illegals.
Well, listen, in a proper world,
he wants the wall to keep out the illegals, the people who are seeking asylum but not seeking it the right way, the kids that end up becoming dreamers, and the drugs and all that other stuff. But he wants to keep them out too. Like, I think he's looking at a bigger picture than most people are looking at.
I think he wants people to come through the border the right way, and they either qualify or they don't.
Right.
And what that does is that eliminates a lot of people that don't qualify from getting into the country. But this is, this
because
is
he knows that once they get in, there's just going to be an amnesty.
Oh, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
there's amnesty. And at some point, and people don't want to say it, and it's sad to say, there's not enough fucking room in this country for everybody.
No.
There's not enough room in this country for the amount of people we got right now.
Listen, our highways, our bridges, all our infrastructure needs to be done. You're seeing some of these school budgets that are being passed.
Those are all state things. Those are all state things.
I get it, but
we're talking about a federal thing.
I get it.
That money's not going to go to it anyways.
I get it, but what I'm saying is the states are taking on more responsibilities. The homeowners are getting taxed even harder, and now people come into the country illegally. Who's paying for them?
We are.
Thank you.
But that's what. So you and I are agreeing right now. But that's what he's saying, and I hate to say it. Let's get into that in a minute.
I don't agree with his approach, but I agree that there has to be a border policy. Illegals shouldn't just be strolling in through a field or smuggled in through a tunnel. There should be a process at the border, and you either qualify or you don't. Listen,
the problem is the border's so long, and so much of it is unpatrolled.
I get it, but you know what?
But the second they get in here, it's too hard to kick them out.
Well, it shouldn't be.
It's too hard.
And you know what? It's heartfelt when I say that because I'm sure somebody's really trying to escape something horrible, but you cannot illegally enter a country and just stay there. I'm sorry.
And what's the easiest way, the simplest way to deal with that?
Not build a 30-foot wall.
Well, that's the hardest way.
I gotta think it is.
No, because once they come in, you got to get them and you got to kick them out.
Right.
And I get that. You build a wall, they'll find a way around it, but
Sure.
now they have to find a way around it. And they're like, oh, well, they'll dig a tunnel. Well, it takes a long time to dig a fucking tunnel. And then it takes a long time to get through the goddamn tunnel. And then once that tunnel's shut, now you got to dig another fucking tunnel. So I understand his idea of a wall. It is going to slow the people coming in.
Yeah. Again, though, if you have
it's a waste of money.
Yeah. If you have an unmanned wall and it's 30 foot, like I said, 31-foot ladder, you're up and over it. It really is that easy. It really is.
Well, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's deal with this the dumbass of the week real quick.
Oh, this guy. Oh my god.
So Austin, Texas.
Here's a reason why we need a wall right here.
Right. Well, I don't know. Maybe they got a scooter that'll go over it. So a man went downtown in Austin to a bank and he decided he was going to rob it.
Dum.
He ends up getting the money.
Amazing.
How does he get away?
He hops on an electric scooter.
And one of the other bank tellers sees him leaving on an electric scooter. All the police had to do was call the scooter company and ask for a list of credit card numbers, which I think is a little shady. That should be illegal. But, I mean, say...
Well, it is a felony to rob a bank.
Yeah, but I'm just saying now you're getting my credit card information, your credit, because we love scooters. Yeah. But if they're looking for a blue Honda, they're just going to go to the DMV, look up all the people with blue Hondas, see who lives in the area that fits the description. So, I mean, I get it. Yeah. I understand. But, yeah, that's all they had to do. This kid, I mean, he shows up. He was wearing, when they found him, he was wearing the clothing. His cell phone record showed that he was in the vicinity. But when you're thinking of a getaway vehicle,
I'm not taking an electric scooter.
I don't care how fast that thing goes.
My luck, it don't start. All the juice is gone. You know what I'm saying? I mean, why an electric scooter? Listen, I would think you'd want to blend in. Why not like an Impala or a Civic? You know, one of those millions of cars that are on the road.
It would have to be white.
Yeah, or
those
tan.
Are the cheapest ones to get.
Or tan. You know, but no, let's get a black electric scooter because that blends right in Texas.
I'll be honest, this kid probably would have gotten away if he left in like a white Impala because he didn't take a lot of money.
If this kid left in a crew cab dually diesel pickup truck, he would have got away. All right, because there's a million of them down there. I just don't see him growing electric scooters on every corner down there. I think it's like wearing a neon shirt and going and robbing a bank. It just, I mean, what an idiot. If I could, when we talk about this kid, and we have our jackass of the week. All I can picture is the rear end of a donkey with this guy's face right where the bunghole should be. That's some Larry Flint shit right there. That's all I can think of.
This kid was, I mean, it's almost like somebody dared him to do it. That's how stupid it is.
What a dummy. And you know what? I mean, it's such a serious offense. This kid's 19 years old. he's doing 7 to 10.
Oh yeah,
He's doing
done.
7 to 10.
Yeah, he's an adult.
Yeah, so he's already going to spend. By the time he gets out, 1/3 of his life will be spent in jail doing hard time. This kid's not going to be in some minimum
In this
security
day and age,
work
though,
plan.
he's got some mental thing. His feelings were hurt.
Yeah, he didn't get a trophy when everybody lost. I don't know.
All right, speaking of trophies, let's give trophies to the government.
Oh,
Shutdown's
God.
over.
Yeah, this
Woo.
clown.
Democrats won.
Oh,
Democrats won.
Yeah, in the
For
meantime.
how long?
Yeah, for 3
3
weeks. Yeah, they can brag about it for 3 weeks. In the meantime, there's almost 1 million government workers that haven't been paid. They're going to get dicked around. Contractors, businesses, they're going to lose 20% of what should come in because of these guys fighting like a bunch of little kids. They're all bullshit. Every one of them.
I don't get why you think it's a big deal, Rick.
Yeah,
These
it's
millions
really
of people
not.
I mean, think about it. All they truly had to do, Rick, was take out a loan.
Yeah, and that's what the Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross said. This guy's worth $860 million estimated. He wouldn't know what it was like to not have a slice of bread.
He's like, I don't understand why they're going to food banks and shelters.
Yeah, my maid does my grocery shopping, and there's bread all over the store.
Well, you haven't paid somebody, and I get it. You and I are at a spot in our life where if the government did shut down and we needed to take, and we weren't getting paid and we needed a couple months off.
Yeah.
But there was a time where if I didn't get paid that Friday,
it was a problem.
I was finding a place to live the next week.
Yeah.
I was living paycheck to paycheck.
More and more people are living check to check. Listen, I know the buzz. Oh, the market. Oh, the NASDAQ. Oh, if the economy's so great. Yeah, it's great if you're a 1%er in the top 3%. But if you're an average, everyday American, life is hard right now. Extra money is just not there. That's why so many people are working check to check.
Speaking of extra money, now these people are already living check to check.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? Banks and credit, this is a quote, banks and credit unions should be making credit available to them.
Yeah, but they're not.
Quote, now true, the people might have to pay a little bit of interest, but the idea that it's paycheck or zero is really not a valid idea. The fuck it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
We just talked about it. Everybody's living paycheck to paycheck nowadays.
Yeah.
And now you're telling them to take out a loan, which is already what gets a lot of people in trouble. Think of credit cards.
Well, they're not going to get the loan because they don't have an income.
But no, just say that he passed a law that said that they do. They already can't afford to live. They're living paycheck to paycheck, and now they got to pay back a loan on top of everything else that they have to pay back. Are you a fucking moron?
Yeah, and I got news for you. Banks aren't giving these loans out. They're not doing it. They're not, because they don't know how long the government's going to be shut down.
Absolutely.
They could just hand out 10 grand, 15 grand, 5 grand, and well, we'll set your first payment, and then everybody, they're going to lend out, $100 million, and everybody's going to default because the government's still closed down. They can't pay it back. They don't lend money to people who can't pay it back. And if you're not getting a paycheck, you're not getting a loan. It doesn't matter.
No, absolutely. Half the time, or not half the time, all the time, when you go to get a loan, you have to show your last 3 paychecks. Yeah, your last paycheck's gonna be a big fat zero.
Yeah, this is so out of touch. Out of touch.
He used to run banks too. He should know this shit.
He knows then.
But here's my thing, and I hate to say anything that's on his side, but looking at it from his perspective, he doesn't see people as people.
No.
Okay. He's an economist.
Yeah.
And I've taken economics. I understand. I get in when I had to take economics, I had to get in that mindset.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how many people were starving in Africa. Macroeconomics just meant this.
Right.
So he also said, we've had shutdowns, albeit not for such a long period of time. We've been this far. But put in perspective, you're talking about 800,000 workers. And while I feel sorry for the individuals that have had the hardship, 800,000 workers, if they never got their pay, which will not be the case, they will eventually get it. But if they never got it, you're only talking about 1/3 of 1% of the total of our gross domestic. What did I say? Domestic?
Something like that.
We were just having a conversation.
Yeah. The GDP, folks.
Yeah, the GDP. So, that just shows you he's just a guy that's just looking at numbers. Yeah. He's not a people person.
Listen, life's a spreadsheet to him.
Life's a spreadsheet to a lot of people that we elect to run this country. And a lot of people don't realize that. I don't care what side you're on, left or right.
Yeah.
You're just you're just electing robots.
Yeah.
You know, they just want more money.
Yeah.
And to get more money, they're going to cater to what you say or to cater to what he says. And then he's going to hire these people who are just have their nose in books. They have much money. They've never had to worry about it. These guys have never eaten at McDonald's.
Oh, no. Well, the president does. I mean, that's, he bought McDonald's, Wendy's, and was it some pizza?
Oh, I did read that.
Yeah, it looked good.
But
I had the munchies at the time, so it all looked good to
or
me.
even better, these people have eaten but they've never gone there to get it. Somebody's brought it to them.
No,
I mean,
they don't even know a place has a drive-through.
They don't even understand. Like, they'd come to our homes, and we're doing pretty well for ourselves, and they'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, how do you guys live like this?
Jesus. You only have 10 rooms in your house? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I got that in my garage.
How small is your library? I have a library in my house.
Yeah.
And somebody would be like, somebody else is listening to this right now going, he has a library in his house? What the fuck?
Yeah. I have a shelf with a book on it. It's not even a shelf. It's what the TV sits on. There's a book on the TV stand. So
don't fool yourself, people. It's CJ and Run.
Yeah. Everybody's got to start somewhere.
But then, then we take the same thing and we have to like break down the semantics of it. So there's another economic advisor, and I truly think that he just misspoke, and he was trying to like say something positive about the people. So Larry Kudlow, whose staff has been working during the shutdown, he's an economic advisor. His quote is, "I've met with my individual staff members and God bless them. They're working for free. They're volunteering, but they do it because they believe government service is honorable and they believe in President Trump," he told reporters. Now, immediately he's blasted. Everybody's like, "You effing idiot." I don't know why I just said effing. I've been swearing the whole program.
Yeah.
You effing idiot.
That's twice.
These people are not, I was sticking to it.
Oh.
These people are not volunteering. They're your employees.
They're just not getting paid.
They're not getting paid. And what he's saying is I get it. They're my employees. They're not getting paid. Volunteering kind of does mean work for free.
Yeah.
I didn't tell them I'm not paying them. It is not my fault.
It's not his decision
that they're not getting paid. Yet they're still with me. They're still being positive. I'm trying to thank them. And you guys are getting into a semantics debate because you just want to hate everything everybody does.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all he was trying to do, I feel, was just, like he said, honorable. He was just trying to like honor these people. And then the left's got to come out and go, "Oh, well, you said volunteering."
Yeah.
Well, I just said Damascus for Damascus.
I
just said, see, I can't even speak now. Well, I am an idiot, but
well, and here
is everything I've said null because I misspoke a word?
No.
That's what I hate.
Not.
I hate when you just find like punctuation or a word, and now you've taken their 6-page paper and go, none of this means anything.
It's tit for tat politics. And here's the real truth. If these senators and Congress people weren't getting their checks, you bet your ass that government wouldn't have missed a check.
Not a check.
Not a check.
Kudos to Larry because he goes, "You know what I'm saying? It's very clear. Whatever semantic game you think you're going to play with me, and I'm usually an easygoing guy, give them the credit, okay? They honor us. They honor us by their service. I don't care whether you're Republican or Democrat. I mean that sincerely. They honor us." So he even said, he goes, "I get it. You guys are trying to twist everything around. You're going to do this. You're going to honor these employees who are working for free for you. They're not even working for him. They are doing a government job for you. All these government positions, TSA, they're keeping us safe. I know it's annoying going through the airport. These people are keeping us safe."
Right. Yeah, no. And I recently flew here, and when I was flying out of a major airport in the South, the lines weren't too bad, and the particular airport that I was flying out of is just notorious for long lines, and I think it was probably worse the last time I flew out of there. The lines were a lot longer, so the people that were there were working pretty hard, and when you go through, you're supposed to pull your tablets out, phones out, your carry-on, put them in the thing, and my daughter had her I don't know, what's that game? It's a tablet.
Switch or something?
Switch, yeah. She had a Nintendo Switch, and it was in my backpack, and I didn't know it. So, of course, I took my tablet out, took my phone out, and went through, and I noticed that my backpack was pulled off to the side, and I'm thinking, there's really nothing else in there. And because the Switch was in there, you know, they had to scan it, they had to take it out, scan it again. And I was talking to the TSA agent, and I said, you know, thank all of you, you know, for coming to work today. I know y'all aren't getting paid, but you know, there are people that appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, do I love going through a TSA line? No, I don't think anybody loves. I don't think TSA agents enjoy the stress of looking out and seeing a 1 hour wait.
When you get up there and you see that TSA agent that's just fucking grumpy as hell, that's not because he wants to be a dick to you. That's just because so many people have complained today.
Yeah.
Or done something nasty.
It's human nature. It's human nature.
You know, I get up there and they laugh with me.
Oh, same here. Same here. I always try and make it light. I go for the full body pat down. I ask for it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You find the biggest, sexiest guy and be like, hey.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Can you check that midsection one more time for me?
I know I hit something in there.
Yes, you did. But, you know, and the guy said, hey, you know what? Sometimes you just got to put things before yourself. He said it's important. You know, these guys don't really want to see anything bad happen in flight or anything like that. You know, so they're there and they know they're not getting paid. You know, so I just said thanks, and I really meant it. You know, I wasn't.
Well, while
just
we're on the
it.
subject of the employees, what I don't understand, I truly don't understand. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. How can you? I get that if you didn't come to work, you might not make as much as you did. You were told not to come. You're not getting paid, whatever. But for the people that are there, working, the TSA agents that showed up and are patting you down. The rumor I'm hearing is it's possible that these people only get 80% of the pay that they worked.
That's my understanding. Yeah, it'll be 80%.
How do you even justify that? Especially if you're not paying those other people back pay. Yeah. All this was in a budget, so the money's already there.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
That's some bullshit right there.
You're getting fucked twice.
But here's the thing. Let me make this absolutely fucking clear. Wow, the F words today. I'm a little heated up about this stuff.
Yeah.
But absolutely clear. It's not just Trump. All presidents that have shut down the government have done it this way.
Yeah.
It was the last time it happened, I think, with Obama.
We had a government shutdown.
They argued it down to like 80%.
I think the longest one was actually when Bill Clinton was in office.
Before Trump.
Before Trump.
It was, yep.
And I think it was 21 days or something like that. So there was a paycheck miss there. 21 days. Somebody missed paychecks.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know.
Well, everybody missed paychecks. As long as it's over a week, everybody misses a paycheck because, the shutdown ended today.
Yeah.
It still takes another week for the check cashing services to get up and running.
Yeah.
So then another week, so it's still 2 weeks from now that they're going to get it. So a lot of these, even if it's only like a couple of days, it's like 2 weeks before they get their check.
Yeah, it screws things up for sure, you know, without a doubt.
So talking about, the airports and stuff like that brings up another topic. So we see Pelosi standing her ground against the president, which, like we said before, it would have been cheaper to just give him the money. She's just doing it on principle.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's cheering because the Democrats won.
And nobody's talking about how much it actually costs to shut the government down.
And the truth is, Pelosi's basically just said, you know what, screw these guys, let them starve. I'm not going to let Trump win, which is the whole point of the shutdown, is to see who's going to cave first. And Trump caved today. But everybody's like, Pelosi's a hero. She's this wonderful
She's not
lady.
a hero.
In 2011, Judicial Watch exposed Pelosi's rampant use of luxury Air Force jets to the point where she calls up the Air Force and is like, hey, can I have this certain people on this certain crew? And the Air Force is like, no, you can't. But just to travel between Washington, D.C. and her congressional district of California, a 5-hour, 3,000-mile flight, in just 2-year period, she accumulated $1,744 worth of travel expenses.
That's nuts.
Which included $101,000 for in-flight conveniences such as food and alcohol for a 5-hour flight in 2 years.
Oh, nobody's talking about that though until now.
But people didn't get paid because she didn't want to give Trump money.
Yeah.
In 2015, cost the Air Force $184,000 for her and several other Democratic members of Congress to make a trip to Spain and them.
Yeah, with their families.
Right. And
Yeah.
Politico wrote a story saying that they were trying to do whatever. They spun it a little bit for them. But in a Freedom of Information Act, the document suggests lawmakers treated the trip more like a vacation. This is the one. Even petitioning the Air Force for specific flight crew during the trip, which the Air Force said was laughable and arguably selfish request.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what this is saying is that people don't realize it is they're like, oh, she was going over to help somebody do something. No, they take their family on vacation, but just like these business owners that we know all over the place, you need to find write-offs. Even I've had to try to find write-offs. So if I go down and talk to an artist about an art project for a thing that I'm doing, and then I spend another couple of days down there, I can write my flight off going down there because I had to go down there to talk to the lady. Just because I'm spending an extra couple of days personal doesn't mean that trip didn't have to happen. So what these congressional people do is they say, oh, yeah, we're going to go talk to the King of Spain.
Yeah, they make an excuse.
And then they go for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they get the flight. They get to use the
horseshit.
Air Force jets because they made it a political thing.
Yeah.
But it's really a vacation.
Yeah, on the taxpayer's dime.
Yeah.
In the meantime, they got paid, and there's almost 1 million people that didn't get paid.
Absolutely. I thought this was funny. I was reading an article talking about how, walls don't work, but all these people have walls.
Yeah.
And so there's a picture of Nancy Pelosi's house with a huge wall around it. Not Nancy Pelosi's house.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's not even her house. Some other famous house.
That's funny.
But they did show her Napa compound.
Yeah. Compound? She has a compound?
I think she owns a winery.
Oh, gotcha.
I think they called it a compound for whatever reason. But I think it's a winery. I read it. She paid for all the things to have 50 or 500 gallon things. Anyways. But there's this wall around this compound. And I think it was Tucker Carlson was like, if you don't believe walls work, why don't you tear down this wall around your compound? I could step over this wall.
Seriously?
I could pee my name in the snow on the other side of the wall with no effort, I mean, it's laughable. So on the right side,
blowing it out of proportion. See, one side's better than the other.
Well, if the wind's blowing, I ain't doing it.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
But my thing is I knew today I'd be spending a lot of time focusing on like just liberal bullshit. I did the Jim Carrey. We're talking about how they're fighting them. And,
right.
But the truth is it happens on the right too. And like the wall, I mean.
Both sides are doing the same shit.
Yeah.
That's why it kills me when, you really see someone dug in. I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, you're both a couple of assholes and you're both wrong.
The only person that I have a problem talking about the wall, and you're probably going to disagree with me on this, is the Pope. The Pope was in Panama City this week.
Talking about the wall?
He was in Panama City, and he said, those builders of walls sow fear and look to divide people. And right next to the quote I wrote, says the religious leader whose landlocked sovereign city-state consists of a walled enclave within the city of Rome, Italy.
Yeah.
He had to leave his wall, so he's got a wall around the Vatican.
Yeah.
Now, is he tearing down his wall? His wall has protected the church's wealth, the leader of the faith, and basically the whole goddamn religion since the wall was put up.
See?
And I will argue that if the Vatican didn't have that wall and all that, all the military that they had around there, the faith wouldn't be what it is today. They wouldn't have quite possibly the most wealth in the world. I mean, in the words of my favorite Beatle,
oh boy,
it is better to be an outspoken atheist than a hypocrite.
Oh yeah. I'm going to let you go on this because I can't bang on the Pope. You can't do it.
Well, that's why I thought you were going to defend him.
Oh, no.
Because now I know you're looking at me like, wow, he's going to hell.
Oh, yeah.
But
the Express. You're getting a front seat.
I look at it this way. If God is looking at me right now and thinks that I'm such a bad person that I'm going to hell because I called out the Pope for being a hypocrite, that's not. We're not praying to God. We're praying to something else.
Yeah. No, I just can't bang on the Pope.
I'm more surprised that you're not like, who's the best Beatle?
Yeah, oh, that's so fucked up. So fucked up. Everybody knows who the best Beatle is.
All right, look, we're gonna get off politics right now. I think we're gonna fight.
Oh Jesus! Who do you think is the best?
No,
Beatle?
because now I want to know, because I know who wrote that quote, and people can look this up.
I'm gonna go with John Lennon wrote the quote.
No, George Harrison.
George Harrison.
Every good Beatles song was written by George Harrison.
Give me a break.
Oh,
give me
Jesus.
a break. Without the Beatles, there would have been no Beatles without Lennon. No.
I wish there was something I could throw right now.
Oh my God! And I bet you think Ringo Starr was a better drummer.
Are you serious?
Oh, here we go.
Actually, my favorite Beatles story actually does involve Ringo Starr.
Well,
he was at one of his concerts playing a show. It was his birthday, and he's out there doing the drums, and it's all over. He says goodbye to the show and to the fans, and he's out back, and he starts hearing music, but there's no drums; it's just guitar. And then all of a sudden he hears Paul McCartney, who he had no idea was at his show the entire time.
Oh, wow.
Start singing They Say It's Your Birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And he comes running back out on stage. He's crying. He starts playing the drums.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got chills just saying that story again. All right, back to the wall, or the shutdown.
Yeah, both. Shut down the wall.
So I have a question. All right, Ocasio-Cortez, she voted against the bill to fund and reopen the government on Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know,
did you say Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
What's today, Ben? Come on. Tell me. Hump day!
Oh, here it is.
Woo-hoo!
If only they knew what we were talking about. But she voted down. She was the sole Democrat. Like, even Republicans voted for it.
Yeah.
She voted it down because it funded Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. It funded ICE. Now, I understand. You and I both agree that the wall isn't a big deal. Even though I say I understand why Trump wants it, I agree with you that it's not a good idea.
Right.
Why is ICE a bad idea? Like, does she literally just want open borders where everybody can just cross willy-nilly?
Did you just say willy-nilly?
I sure did say willy-nilly.
Oh, my God. Bartender, cut him off. Willy-nilly does not belong in a political podcast.
I even did the Beatles story.
Yeah, true. You know what? I've read a few interviews with her. I can't figure her out. But listen.
Sometimes she just seems stupid. I'm not afraid to say it. Sometimes she just seems like ignorant.
Yeah, I just, when I say I'm not agreeing, but I'm not going to disagree with you. I just, everybody votes for it but you. And what point does that make?
Yeah.
If it's for the greater good, okay? If it's for the greater good, because there's funding in there for ICE, are they going to work for free now?
But
I mean, how does that work?
But what she's saying is she wants to abolish ICE, and there's all these people that want to abolish ICE. Well,
ICE isn't going anywhere.
And I think the bigger picture here, to explain this whole segment that we're talking about, is what is your option? Like, Pelosi at least was like, yeah, we'll have sniffing robot dogs smelling the trucks for drugs. And
well, she did offer $1 for the wall. That was her opener.
But I mean, that is the only counter argument to his wall. Like, they just say no. Like, what do you want?
No, see, and there's where I have a problem. Okay, listen, I don't think we should spend $600 billion, whatever, trillion dollars on this wall.
I agree.
I genuinely don't. Walls don't work. But I think if I'm a Democrat and I'm on the other side, I need to come up with a solution.
Exactly.
I would say, Mr. President, okay, let's be reasonable about this. I understand you ran on this and you feel it got you elected, and that's great. All right. You already got the job. Okay. You're here. All right. But let's give them something that's really going to help. All right. Let's get high tech on this. Let's sit down. Let's
and she
brainstorm.
did do that. She did do that. But I think she kind of was underwhelming about it.
Yeah, she half-assed
but
it.
If they had all come up and just publicized we have this, and this planned.
Yeah.
But the truth is,
how about saying we have a better idea? We have a better solution.
Yep. And they come out with the sniffer dog. And
oh, give me a break.
But my thing
dogs.
is what do you do?
What is this, George Jetson?
What do you do with all the ones that are here now? What do
Yeah.
you do with the ones that are trying to come in?
Yeah.
Through where I want to put the border.
Yeah.
And I will say, I know you just talked about the border walls being open. All right. But what's right on the other side of El Paso?
Oh,
It's touching. It's touching El Paso.
Yeah, it's a real
it's the worst city in the world.
Yeah.
It's Juarez.
Yeah, and I think maybe you do need a wall there.
They have one. That's the only reason
you have walls. You have walls on prisons.
But that's the only reason that Juarez hasn't infiltrated El Paso. So I won't say all walls won't work. They can't. There's certain parts of this area that they can't even build the walls. But my thing is come in and say, Mr. President,
and you can't cross there either. So you shouldn't worry about it.
But if you're not going to come in and be like, but this is our plan. All you're doing, and I'd be on their side if they'd be like, we want to do this, 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 and this.
Yeah,
but all I'm seeing, especially with like this Ocasio-Cortez, is no, we just want free open borders because you're racist if you don't want it.
No, and no, you're not.
Right? I agree, 100%.
You're not. You're not a racist if you don't want open borders. You know what? I would. I just. You know what? It's so dumb or ignorant to even think about open borders. I don't even want to comment on it because I don't want to feed into the animal that even makes that or tries to legitimize that process of thought.
So here's the comment I want from you right now on the shutdown. Today, Trump opened the country.
Yeah,
ended the shutdown
for 3 weeks.
Democrats are claiming a win.
Yeah, great.
Republicans are saying, no, you didn't win. Trump finally was like, you know what? I have to
pay the people.
I have to pay these people.
Yeah.
So, in my eyes, looking at it, the Democrats going, we won. That's kind of them saying, screw you to the workers that were out of money.
Yeah.
That's them saying, you know what? I mean, to me, Trump literally was like, because he's already said, if we can't come up with anything in 3 weeks, I'm shutting it down again, but I need to get these people money.
Yeah.
That sounds like somebody who's trying to work with the people. He understands that his fight isn't with the people, but the people who are the ones getting pressured to go to their representatives.
Right.
All right, now it's time for our quick offs. Today we got quick offs on, looks like all teachers today.
Yeah.
So I guess in honor of the strike in Los Angeles, did that end? That ended, right? Yeah, because they agreed.
Think so, yeah.
Because they agreed smaller classes. And
yeah.
a raise.
You know what? That ended faster than the government shutdown.
Exactly.
And let me tell you something. These two sides were at war.
Yeah.
We
only have $17 billion extra.
Yeah.
We can't afford it. And all they're asking is, listen, I can't teach 34 people in a class.
Yeah, it's not.
Do you know
realistic.
how many seconds that gives me per student per class?
Yeah,
it's not enough.
It.
I mean,
yeah, got to be logical.
That's just stupid. All right, so school superintendent illegally claims student as son to get him health care.
Wow.
So what happened there, Rick?
Well, apparently this kid's poor, had no health insurance, no nothing. From the way I understand the article is, the lady took this I think she acquired fake ID.
No,
at some point
she took him to a clinic, and they were like, "You can't. He's not your son. We can't give him health care." So then she took him to another clinic and just said that he was her son.
Right.
So maybe she brought his birth certificate. I don't think they got into that.
Right. But she lost her job and she got arrested.
I'm not sure she lost her job.
She got arrested for sure.
She got arrested, but the prosecutor is saying, listen, what she did was
she does not get arrested or anything.
Yeah, she's getting a I forget what the name of it was, but where as long as she doesn't do anything for the next year,
yeah, the charges will be dropped.
Will be dropped.
Yeah.
So maybe she did lose her job.
I don't know. I can appreciate what she was trying to do, though. She was really trying to take care of something truly needy.
The kid had like strep throat or something. She got him amoxicillin, and she sent him home. And it was she noted that there had been times where she purchased clothes for him. She went over to his house and cleaned it for him. Was in the article, and all the articles I read, all of them, none of them spoke about the kid's parents. There was one that talked about his family members, but never told me who the family members were. It didn't say if it was aunt or uncle. None of them had the same.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know. So
there is a lot more to this story.
There's a lot more. I get wanting to help the kid, but could you imagine if a teacher took your kid to a doctor and they gave him medicine and he was allergic?
I would lose my shit.
I hope she did it because she needed to.
Yeah.
My question is more with the parents. The fuck are the parents?
Yeah, where are they?
I mean,
Who are they?
that's the only highlight I have in this article is where the fuck are the parents?
And if things were that bad, why wasn't Child Protective Services called?
Well, she said she didn't want to call Child Protective Services because she was afraid of him being put into foster care.
If things were that bad.
Well, we all know somebody was in foster care that was just worse than that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
But
system's so fucked up.
But in a article on how she should have handled, well, not how she should have handled this, but a way a teacher handled something great. Basically the same situation. Kid was in this professor's class. He noticed the kid wore the same clothes like every day, but he showed up for class every time he had a class. So finally he asked the kid, he's like, what's going on, son? You okay? And he's like, listen, I live with my grandfather. I'm trying to take care of him, trying to go to school. I work Chick-fil-A. I'm just barely making it. I can't afford clothes. So this guy took $800, gave it to the kid, and for clothes and food. And then he called his wife, and he's like, so, you love me, right?
Oh, boy.
And she's like, yeah.
Gonna find out how much right now.
And he's like, remember our vacation fund? Ends up, he married a saint.
Good for him.
And she ended up inviting the young man and his grandfather over for Christmas that year. That must have been this past year.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a good story. That's a good story. What about this other guy, though?
Oh, here we go. You got to get bent on this topic again.
I'll let you open this article.
So what school was this? This was what's that military school?
I'm trying to find the name of it.
West Point, right?
Yeah, it just escapes me.
I think it was West Point. I might be wrong. But teacher got fired for refusing
to use a pronoun for a
transgender.
Yeah.
So this girl transitioned to a boy. The teacher was informed. So she went from Stacy to Scott. I don't know what her real name is, but that's what we're going to use right now. The teacher 100% of the time called her Scott. Now, I am refusing to call her he on purpose because of how much this fucking drives me nuts. This teacher lost his job for it says right in here, right in the article.
I'm being punished for what I never said.
I am being punished for what I haven't said. Fleming is not being accused of intentionally referring to the student as a female while he was around. He just refused to use the female pronoun. So if ever he had to talk to her, he called her Scott instead of saying, oh, she over there, or he over there. He would say Scott over there. He literally did everything he had to do, but it made for a hard learning environment, this kid said.
Yeah, bullshit.
Now, we've talked about transgenders tons of times. Boggles my mind. Boy, girl, I don't give a fuck what you are. I'll call you whatever you want. But when people are losing their jobs out of this, you're being a ridiculous person. Now, what are they called?
Transgender.
Which means they are...
Trans.
Which means...
Both.
They're changing.
Right.
They're transferring.
Right.
They are changing genders. Which means they were a fucking gender to begin with. It's acknowledged in the name that he was a she before. Which you can't say he was a she before and that they're changing if they really never were.
Right.
And I get it. Oh, they're just disacknowledging their vaginas. Well, you know what? Untuck your vagina and understand that he's doing everything he can. He just doesn't want to use your fucking pronoun.
Oh, man.
I'm fucking yelling at a child here.
Yeah. It's, yeah. I don't think he should have lost his job, and I think everybody should focus on scholastics and move on. You know, I mean, it's just, listen.
We're letting it run too much.
Yeah, yeah. I do think there are some issues there with the transgender community. I believe they are discriminated
when they're
against.
being murdered and raped and all that stuff. Then I will be 100%. I'm not saying because that sounds like I want them to be.
Yeah, no.
But if it ever, I'm totally on their side.
When really bad things happen.
But over a pronoun, kiss my ass.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'm going to start referring to you as she. See if I can get fired from the podcast.
Oh, you're already fired.
Maybe on Wednesdays. What day's Wednesday? Hey!
John.
John.
Well, that's been the show this week. You can find us at purplepoliticspodcast.com, Politically Purple on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. If you enjoyed the show, share this with your friend. Give us a 5-star review on Apple iTunes.
Somewhere.
Wherever you found us.
Yeah.
We need it. We appreciate it. And love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Test.
We should have done a hump day.
Hey!